Hello and welcome back to this video series. This is part 2 of the level design breakdown of the speed level design called Volcanic Heist. If you didn't watch the video of that game, please take a look at it. It will be super helpful while watching this level design breakdown. Today we're gonna take a look at area 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the areas where the loop actually happens and which is like one of the main features of this level, which I constrained myself to, or I wanted to practice and well, showcase to some extent. So I'd say let's jump right in. We start where we actually left off, in front of this table area, which is traversable. So I wanted the player to go over this table, which is like on a market stall, and there should be in the later stages of the level, like in the production workflow, a lot of cans, meals, or whatever, like just wares and resources scattered on the table. And when the player goes there, he kind of slides over them and knocks all of this stuff away, while all of the NPCs kind of recoil because they see their wares flying away. Why did I want to do that? Well, it's pretty simple. I wanted the player to feel like he's an entity which does not belong here, which supports one of the main ideas we followed or we already know about since the very beginning, which is that the player is wanted in the city and he shouldn't belong here. And the player should also feel like that. So, if we look at it again in a short way, there's like this open area here, which clearly draws attention in my opinion, and like super noisy spaces here. We see crowds on the market stall which are interested in something. We also see an enemy which spotted us. We see some kind of speaker with a crowd in front of it. This will be very important later on. And another guard. But we can see, okay, he looks in the other direction, we can make it. And there's one more thing, which is really important to me, like after we go through the market stall, is this guy. He seems super, well, not visible, almost hidden, like he does not do a lot of the still image, but I will show you guys a little bit of gameplay here in the video, because he walks in this direction. And this is really important because if it gives the player the sense of direction. This is always something in game design in my opinion, or just in psychology, that if something goes away from us, we tend to follow it. And if something approaches us, we tend to be more careful and think about it as danger. The first Mario really did that in a good way, where there was like this stage, Mario spawned here, and there were like blocks on 1-1, and the Goomba walks to us and we're like, oh, scared and so on. And as soon as we go on the box, the mushroom comes out and the mushrooms goes away from us. So we actually want to chase it and then understand, okay, there's danger and there's good stuff. But yeah, enough about Mario. We can also see some sort of POI maybe here. I think for a POI it's a little bit too not unique enough, but I think it catches the attention because like the roof sequence here is broken up by this. So you can see something is framed here, which in my opinion also tends the player to go to the right instead of like this noisy space. If the player would go in this direction, well, he could do that, but in best case scenario he sees him and returns. Because he will get caught, because we don't want to get caught. We can also see that this archway into this direction is blocked by the card. Maybe the guys are checking something again or whatever, but we cannot go there. So if we jump one frame further, inside this tunnel we see the guy, which is really important to me, still there. He still guides us in a direction. There's one guy standing here, so we have to go through them. And something really important is it's pretty dark in here. It's like a big contrast to the area beforehand, as you can see. And also like this wood here is really important. You can't really see it because it's that dark, but trust me, there are wooden beams there. And they are really tight. They feel like you should hold your breath. You will notice it really well in like a gameplay flow, but in like static images it's not told very well in my opinion. So we see it's tight, we don't feel good here, we feel like super claustrophobic and so on, but we can see the stairs and a guy again walking in this direction. This could mean that we continue this direction. We also see like the house angled also to the left and not to the right. So we can assume that it goes to the left and not to the right. So keep in mind, it's like super tight and not really comfortable for us. And then we go to the next frame, bam, it's like open. So we can almost like breathe out again. There's open air, we are not cramped anymore. And the really important part here as well, like there's these stairs upwards. This is also really important. These here, that we kind of go up a ramp and not just flat on the plane, because I can intensify the feeling of like the openness and the freedom again. A lot of games do this, like I think the most famous one is Breath of the Wild, where they do the big vantage point, which is basically the same thing. Super tight and then wow, open. Because the feeling of openness gets really big when you contrast it side by side, which is really nice. But yeah, enough about the Breath of the Wild stuff. We see another guy again, walking to the left. We see the angle again. We see two enemies, which is not good. And a crowd blocking the path between there. This crowd is also pretty important later on, so keep it in mind. Another small detail I want to mention is this here. So we see like the edges of the stairs up, like the railing almost. This one is cut. Why? It took extra work instead of just making a cube here. But I guess you can already see what I was going for and what's like the logic behind it. If there would be a cube like on the right side, the same here, we would not be able to see all of this. And with the help of like the destroyed stair railing, the curve is already set to the left because this is open. Even though it's like inconvenient to go up, we see in this direction, we can see that it goes deeper there. All of this is blocked. Blocked by the railing, blocked by the dude, blocked by this. And here it's open. Here's something we can't really see. And this is all open space in this direction. So this invites the player to go to the left actually. In the next frame, we see that we actually went left. And we see the guard charging at us. So we need to get away. In like best case scenario, we could have maneuvered through here. But since the guard pushed us, not that nice. We see again guys here, a gap here, so maybe this direction. For the very attentive people, there's also a red guy here, which you cannot really see in the screenshot, but it is important later on. So if we jump one more, we see now the guard from the right side where we only saw the head. He's also chasing us. So we can see again, here is the gap, which is kind of inviting. In best case scenario, these interactable edges are also marked somehow or highlighted. In this case, it's a text. So the player should know, hey, I can do something here. I can climb up and so on. And if we go one further, and here we see why these interactable ledges are actually important. We see the enemy here, which kind of charges to us. But there's like a convenient platform here we could use to jump off onto this and maybe climb later here. I think this is pretty inviting, not ideal. Ideal would probably be if there would be like a ramp laying here, which wouldn't make the climbing on top of this platform so harsh, because like this is a harsh edge, and with the ramp it would be more smooth, more inviting, and it would give direction. So definitely something I could improve for the future. And if the player would not understand that he has to go on top of here, let's say if he walked here and our position is here in front of the stairs, the player could still see the guard. And I think this could be for a pretty cinematic moment, because we know the player got noticed by previous guards here. So he starts to sprint again. He's not walking slowly. And with this sprint movement, when the player presses jump, the jump is so strong that we basically jump over the guard, which is in my opinion an awesome feeling again. Obviously, if we jump down here and run in this direction, we walk into the arms of the other guards, so the goal is still this. If we now go there, we can see, okay, this is like an area where I already was at. Like, not really super, but at least a little bit for people who pay attention to that stuff. But also this box, which is slightly angled to the left, so it indicates, hey, go up here. We can also follow these guiding lines again. Same with this box, they are all angled to guide the player in this direction. There's also a change of pacing here to climbing, which is in my opinion good, but not well made. I could have definitely improved here, because the change is super harsh and hey, do the guards still follow us? What is happening with the guards? They are just behind us, they were just super angry at us, but no, they are basically gone and they can't catch us even though we are super slow with climbing now. Now, if we continue, we climbed up now and now we can really see it again. Here's the speaker, here's the crowd, here's the guard from earlier, the blocked path, the market stall where we caused our chaos, where we slid through. So this should be pretty recognizable. Obviously you could make it more recognizable with placing unique assets there, like in the very first area, the fountain, or maybe there should be like super wall paintings, graffiti or architecture there, so the player understands, hey, I was already here, but now we are looking at it from a different perspective. In the beginning, from here, and now from here. We can also see our way of continuation. This is probably jumping up there, since this is interactable again. But yeah, I hope you kind of see the issue as well. The arrow shows this way, I want the player to go there. But this roof here in the foreground is kind of bad. This thing that is like too long, it should be cut off a little bit clearer. This is probably why I would have to do a boolean. Something which is also pretty nice is that we can see the towers in the background. So maybe in the very beginning with the vista, we saw, hey, there were towers, the double patch of towers, and now we see them again. So maybe this also helps the player to orient themselves in this 3D environment. Now, if we jump onto the next frame, it's like basically I want the player to balance over here on like this cable or wood or whatever it is. And if we go here, the player just has to climb up there, and then he's on top here. This is like where the big pacing change should happen. Like you guys probably remember in the beginning, I told the player via the NPC, hey, you should either be fast or be sneaky. And this is where I wanted the player to be sneaky, but it doesn't really make sense. Or not even sneaky, just like the pacing to slow down, because we only ran away from now. It was like super high intense all the time. And the player should be able to slow down here a bit. In the beginning it should have been like a balancing act, so this would be way smaller. And the player would kind of go like here, a foot, a leg, and his chest and his arms. So he would kind of balance over there. So like there's a risk of falling down to this dangerous area where all of the guards are now waiting for us. And I think behind this market stall is also another guard. Yeah, time issues and time constraints didn't allow me to do that. So I needed to cut it down. This is basically just a sneaking over it. Under normal circumstances, you would probably need to redesign this area where the player gets on top here. So maybe that he slides down a gate, like there's a gate here. And the player runs and runs and runs, slides down, and then the gate falls down. And if the player would turn around, he would see the guards kind of behind the railing saying, no, let me in, I want to catch you. But the player is like, you can't catch me now. And then like the pacing is also slowed down, and it would be a way coherent way of communicating, hey, you are not being chased by the guards anymore, take your time. Again, this is also pretty interesting, pretty nice in my opinion. Probably see it already. It's like showing the player the path. Hey player, this is where you can go. And this is something which I think is really important as well, which some games do not really do well, that they give the player a clear way where to go. I have this problem often in open world games because there are so many paths, but I still feel games should tell the player at least, hey, maybe you should go in this direction so the player can plan ahead where I want to go. Obviously, the player could jump down here or on like this market stall and then maybe here, and there could be a secret or something. But like this is the golden path, the main path I want the player to take. And the player should be like, he should know that. It's so clear in my opinion. It shouldn't be like a communication here. Also something which is really nice is the volcano. Should probably show the volcano a little bit earlier to the player, but I guess we're like 1 minute 30 or maybe a little less into the game, so the player should still understand or remember, hey, I wanted to see the crystal from the volcano. So our main goal, our main landmark is inside again, and we can purposely work towards it. This is also emphasized in like a closer shot where the framing really gets off like this, and there's like still the moving smoke, and we see, hey, everything goes to the volcano. The roof behind it, our path goes up, which basically points us to the volcano. When we are on top of the roof, we can look down. We can look down onto the guards themselves. And we are behind the blocked path now. So if you remember, there was like this arch here, where there was a guard in there. And like the trader was talking with the guard. But now we are on top of that. And now we see the guards below us. Well, what does this do for us? We are not chased anymore, which is like the normal brain state. We are hidden now from the guards. They don't see us. We are on top of them. And same as in Vantage Point or like the Obi-Wan Kenobi scene, the player should, or in my opinion, feels powerful here. The power balance shifts. So it was always like the guards are, okay, this is like power strength. The guards always were here and the player here, because the guards chase the player, and as soon as the player gets catched, he dies, or he gets caught and put into prison or whatever. But now the player has enough time to look down onto the guards. So the dynamic shifted. He's not being chased, he's not being the prey, the weaker foe anymore. Obviously he still has to hide, but he can look down on them now and plan his moves accordingly, and also watch them, which is like giving the player more control, and this makes the player feel more powerful. Again here, we see the path I want the player to take, interactable edge, and something behind it, but it's not clearly shown what. I'd say we'll cover this next part in the third episode. We already learned quite a lot today, so let's recap on everything we looked at. First of all, was here, just gonna title it 1, the environment should feel impact of the player. The player should feel like he has an impact on the environment. Remember, the stuff falling away from the table, and all of the traders are now, oh no, my wares, I wanted to sell them. And they kind of recoil back, because they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It's like one thing. The other thing is breathe in, breathe out, as I called it. It's like 2, like playing with the contrast of open freedom and what the player can see. Here it's pretty dark and it's super tight, it's like almost claustrophobic. Into the breathe out, wow, it feels nice, it feels good again. Then we have a nice intensity moment where the player jumps over the guard, which is like a super powerful feeling, and while slowing down the pacing, the climbing section, which should have been done differently, but making the pacing different is always good, because well, players will get used to it when the pacing and the intensity is always the same height, so you need to kind of shift up and down as you've done in your level flow charts. Then we have revisiting old spaces from a different angle. We look here, like we see this place again, which we had destroyed with our slide, but now from a different angle. We're on top, like looking back instead of to the front. If we go one further, here, reminding the player with the help of framing. Hey player, don't forget your goal. I know it was intense, I know you were chased by guards, but you have to get to the volcano, player, don't forget. Afterwards, the shift in power balance. We are in charge now. We control when we walk and where we are going to walk. We are in charge at our own pace. Make the player feel good and strong about it. In this part, we covered area 6, 7, 8 and a little bit of 9. So I'd say let's have a look at area 9, 10, 11 and the inside of the volcano, number 12, in the next episode of this level breakdown. As always, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something new, and we'll see each other next time. Have a great week.